It's been a decade since I first started exercising, working out, and I figured, why not document? Why not make a video? You see a lot of fucking douchebags out there with their fucking stupid fitness videos and take my fucking SARMs or my peptides and this and that, but they don't give you the real, what it's really like if you really take your health serious. You know what I mean? So why not make one of these videos? In my old school car. So here it goes. Anyways, so I started working out 10 years ago, and it was something that was unexpected. I never planned on going into the fitness world. I never planned on going stepping into the gym. It never crossed my mind. But life-changing events put me in a position where I had no choice. And what do I mean by this? So in 2016, I was married at the time. And prior to that, I had a family. I used to live with a wife and kids. And I was accustomed to pretty much living with a family. And from one day to another, I essentially didn't have a family. I remember this clearly, like it was yesterday, where one day I remember coming home, wrestling with the kids and having a good time, and then the next day the bitch left with the kids, so I'm trying to find some good parking, some good lighting. Bear with me, as I make these videos, just because I'm not used to being in front of the camera. I get a little nervous, so I might stutter a little bit. Anyway, so I was going crazy because I had all this spare time, and I had to fill that time up because I needed to do something, right? So, and prior to that, my ex-wife had started going to the gym, which gonna tie it into the story, right? Which in the back of my mind, I kind of thought to myself, all of a sudden this bitch want to be healthy. What the fuck? All of a sudden, right? Prior to us separating, prior to her leaving, I was like, whatever, fuck it. Let her do her thing, right? And your mind kind of starts racing when you don't have shit to do, when you were accustomed to. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go join a fucking gym. So I ended up walking into a gym and ended up spending time there. Different. I ended up trying a couple gyms here and there. Some of them didn't work out. Some of them did. Eventually, I ended up sticking to it. And as the years progressed, the evolution of me going to the gym kind of changed. I don't know if that makes sense. So what do I mean by this? First, it was because I needed to fill my time with something to do. Then it became the aesthetics, where it was like I actually wanted to get some aesthetics behind, and I wanted to know how to get certain muscle groups. I don't know if that makes sense. And then within all that, within the research and the what do you call it? My wife leaving, it kind of shot me into this rabbit hole, which is, a lot of you guys have heard about the manosphere and the red pill, which gave me a different perspective on fitness. Also, where if you follow the manosphere, the red pill, or any of that kind of stuff, you do realize that, how do I say this? They use the red pill metaphor to pretty much, this is what life really is like, and it's up to you what you do with the provided information, right? And one of those red pill moments that ties into fitness is that if you want to be some sort of successful, you have to be, how do I say this? You have to be presentable when you approach people in life. And uh, and you can't be this fucking overweight, fat, stinky slob, when you go out there in public. And I didn't necessarily understand this, if that makes sense. And yeah, and I'm a little bit of an introvert too, where that kind of played a role where it's just like I didn't really mind. I don't know if that makes sense, because I would distance myself due to the fact that I'm an introvert. Anyways, I'm just yippee yapping. Anyways, so the aesthetics and the red pill and all that kind of came in, where it was like, okay, now I'm starting to understand this thing, where health and fitness isn't about just your diet, your fucking, it's your perform, how you look. It's how you perform in life. The foundation of it. And I also went into this other rabbit hole, this diet rabbit hole, where I very meticulous on my diet, and I don't want to sound like a fucking gay vegan or one of these guys, these fucking soy boys. But I am 100%. I eat a very delicate with my diet. Not delicate. I'm very precise. I don't need anything that's I don't need carbohydrates, sugars, refined sugars, refined carbohydrates. I just stick to a whole food diet, and I love it. It's good. But that's another fucking rabbit hole too, where if you view the world from a red pill lens, especially someone like me who's a father, right? Where you essentially, I was overweight, I was an alcoholic, I drank, I smoked cigarettes, I did all the bad shit, all the negative things that you can do to the human body to essentially poison it. And where am I going with this? Essentially, once you come to the realization that everything out there is just, when it comes to the food, especially when it comes to the food supply, you come to realize it's all poison. It's almost like a bioweapon, or like it's like they weaponize the food industry against men. And it's like in the Matrix movie, but in reverse, when the dude's eating the steak and he says, I know the steak isn't real, but I just bliss his ignorance. That's the other way around. They fucking told us that the fact that the fucking food pyramid is upside down should be enough for you guys to. Anyways, I'm just talking a whole bunch of shit, but a few other things I want to talk about too, which is the aesthetics is not really a big issue for me. Just that's more like a side effect, that's something that I ended up I stopped chasing, if that makes sense. I stopped chasing the aesthetics part just because once you really focus on your health for what you really need to focus on, the aesthetics just come with it. And I'm gonna add this too, where it is, how do I say this? The type of healthy lifestyle that I live is a lonely path, where, like I said earlier, I don't eat at restaurants. I don't need none of those fucking healthy bars. Quote unquote healthy bars. I don't consume soda. So for somebody like me, and I meet people like me, because I like to go out. I hike 3 to 4 times a week, and that's another one. It's lonely because people just fucking lose it. I don't know what it is. I'm 36. You know what I mean? And the older I get, people just can't keep up. you know, even I see motherfuckers in their mid-20s that can't keep up with me. You know, they're all there's even though the women, they're all fucking, they gain weight. You know, once they reach a certain age, they just lose it. And for somebody that takes it serious like myself, where you don't drink, you don't associate with people who sometimes the homies drink, and I don't, I could hang out without drinking, but most people can't do that, and it's fucking lonely. But I tell you this though, the benefits outweigh the lonely. I fucking love being by myself. It's it's not necessarily a bad loneliness, if that makes sense, because at the end of the day, you're the one who's making the right choice when it comes to this shit.